it. Thank you very much. I'd like to start by thanking everybody for taking the time out of your busy days to spend time with our gold medal team. And I'll start by introducing who we have on the call with us. For starters, we have Eric Geiger. Eric Geiger is our Director of Sales and Design on a residential department. He's been with us for 12 going on 13 years now. Started off selling swimming pools and running our punch list, and now he runs, trains, and manages all of our sales. So he's a great friend and a wonderful teammate. So he's here to answer your questions on the sales and design side. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody.
We have welcome. Yep. Well, we have Welcome Edwards. Welcome is our Director of Service and Maintenance. So Welcome is the man who will get the man or woman to clean your pool every week. He's the man that will organize fixing your pump, your filter, coordinating a renovation on your pool if you need it, or anything you need in that backyard. So thank you for taking the time. Welcome.
Sure thing.
And then we have Craig Pollard. Craig Pollard's a great friend and partner to Gold Medal Pools. Craig Pollard handles the majority of the financing for our deals. Just to be completely clear, we don't have a financial interest or a piece of the deal. Craig has just done a great job for us for well over a decade in being creative with our homeowners. The thing that attracted me the most to Craig was that he's not tied down to one financial institution. He's an independent broker. So he's always done a great job at finding the best home for the deal for our clients. So Craig Pollard, thank you for coming.
Welcome, guys. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Well, we'd like to start with a few housekeeping items. As you come, this will be an open session and open for questions. So as you know, there's if you have a question, please send, if you don't feel like getting on, please send it in through the chat line. Or if you'd like to ask your question, please hit the raise hand button. And Donna's so wonderful as to moderate this for us. So she'll make sure we'll take as long as we need to answer all of your questions. So once again, thank you all for coming. And we look forward to spending the next hour with you in this unique market. As we know, life has been very different since March for all of us. This COVID has hit and has changed all of our lives, families, and really our world forever. So it's been a very interesting ride for all of us with the market. You know, we spent a significant amount of time in March wondering what life was going to look like, having to close our business down for months. Fortunately, we were classified as an essential business. And it turns out as people spend a lot of time at home and travel shuts down, they want to swim in their backyard. So as crazy as things have been, we've been extremely fortunate with great clients and great projects. And the most important thing is for us, for our team and for our clients, we've been able to keep everyone on our team employed since the beginning. As a matter of fact, we've grown and we're hiring new team members as we speak. I really attribute that to our team all around, through all departments, to our human resources, and having a very rigorous safety protocol. We have been very, very successful. I think we've had one, maybe two cases of COVID in the company. So when we've had it, we've taken it very seriously. We take our safety protocols very seriously to protect not only our employees, but also our clients and our homeowners as well. It really begins with the sales and design process, how we've handled it, how we've handled our material selections. And we've really been forced to adapt the way that I've done business and we've done business for decades before. So we really appreciate everyone's patience. We've seen a significant increase in the volume of swimming pool leads. One thing we have done is we've been really diligent, humbly speaking, to work with a certain number of deals. So we've tried to really do a great job at managing people's expectations and let them know when we can realistically get there to go to sales and design. So with that being said, we're not just taking on more meetings, more designs. We are, and our salespeople are working around the clock, and our whole team's working around the clock. But when we come to meet you at your house, we expect to give a seamless process from the start to the finish. And that starts with the design, that starts with the meetings, and most importantly, that goes with the construction. Our team's done a really good job at monitoring the number of starts versus the number of finishes. It's a really good leading indicator of our production to eliminate bottlenecks. A lot of things I'm hearing in the marketplace are projects taking exponentially longer to start and consequently taking exponentially longer to finish. Our team's done a really, really great job of pushing these projects through the machine, getting them started, getting them finished, and getting them punched out. So I give a big kudos. I'm the lucky one that gets to speak about it, but we've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of men and women behind the scenes that are just doing a great job working remotely, and most importantly, managing these jobs, do a great job for our clients. So just to let everyone know that, once we take the job on and we come to an agreement with you, once we tell you we can start, we're gonna finish it all the way to the end. So that's really what we're seeing in the market. We've seen some challenges with permits taking a lot longer than normal because of the higher volume. So as crazy it is to say, with it being close to October 1st, by the time you go through the design process, now you're in the fourth quarter towards the end of the year. Now you go to get your permits, you're in the first quarter of the year. You start January, February, March, and really the ones that start right now are the ones that are going to be swimming by spring. I know that's hard to think about. We just had our first cool down. It's been so hot, and we've really had a mild weather year, which has been great for our production. But those that are thinking about it on the fence are really the ones that are going to get ahead of the game and be ready to swim for the first part of next year. Now, granted, as people come in throughout the year, we're glad to help you and do our best to get you done and get you swimming. It is a long swim season, but we want to take this time really to manage your expectations and answer any questions you have, touch on anything in regards to the financing, sales, design, as well as the maintenance and service part, because that's really important. As we get into the end of swim season, we do have the ability to extend it through heaters, and really, I know us as a family spend most of our time in the backyard. This time of year, it's wonderful. We put a fire in the fireplace. We have the patio heaters going. We'll heat the pool for the kids. And right now, if we're going to do any renovation projects to the backyard or updates on the pool, now is when we do it, when the kids aren't swimming 2-3 times a day every day. So really, we just want to get to the front of your mind on those things to think about for those that have an existing pool and those that are thinking about a new one. And I know it goes without saying, but we're really appreciative of those that are on the call and off the call for the opportunity, and we're very thankful for the opportunity to work with you and your family. We couldn't do it without you. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it to Eric really to talk about what we need to do to start our project now before spring and walk through the process. And before we get into that, are there any specific questions, or Donna, is there anything we have in the meantime, or are we clear to move forward?
You are good to go unless anybody has any questions.
Is there any questions out there before we get moving?
I don't see any.
No? Okay, well, one thing I'll say to think about before I hand it to Craig and Eric is oftentimes people think, okay, well, I'm going to go in, I'm going to figure out the swimming pool design, I'm going to get it all buttoned up, I'm going to get my contract signed, get my selections made, and then I'm going to start my financing. Well, as we all know, with home sales up exponentially and with interest rates all-time low, it's really important to work on your financing in parallel with, because some of the things that we can control, the design, the selections, and the timing, and oftentimes even some of the permits, but the things we can't control are the financing. So even before we start with Eric, Craig, do you want to talk a little bit about the State of the Union and the financing and lead times as opposed to previous years?
Absolutely. So as Josh said in March, when we didn't know what the world was going to look like for the next couple of months, we started running into some challenges on the lending side as far as timing and liquidity and things like that. And after a few weeks, those sorted themselves out. And since kind of the 1st of April, it's been gangbusters. And what we've seen is longer turn times in underwriting. We've seen longer turn times with appraisers. And, on the home improvement side, we've seen turn times almost double with some of our banks. And so, the first of the year, I'm telling people, hey, 2.5, 3 weeks, you'll have your home improvement loan done. You'll be starting the project, a week after that. Most of my banks right now on the second lien side are, they're 5 weeks. And so what we're telling clients is when they call us and they're still undecided on, how much are we going to spend? We haven't really nailed down a contract price yet. We're telling them to go ahead and get in line with our investors so that when the financing's almost done, ideally they'll have a contract finalized at that point. They can plug in that number. They've already been approved, for something close to that. Here come the permits, financing's done, and all of a sudden, there's nobody waiting around because they started their financing in the beginning. 5, 6 weeks later, they're coming to you going, hey, we're ready to go. When can we get on the schedule? And, it just makes it a little bit more seamless doing it that way, where in the past, maybe we could wait on the financing for a little bit. But now it just makes sense to get that part going so that, timing wise, you're in good shape.
Greg, I have one question for you. Although it takes a little bit longer for the appraisals, the approvals, does it make sense for someone to contact you early on and really just talk through high level numbers so they can have an expectation of budget or a willingness or an amount that they're willing to spend?
Absolutely. I mean, that ideally is a 15-minute phone call to say, how much do you owe? What do you think your house is worth? Give me a general idea of what you want to spend on a pool. And then we can kind of back into, well, you can do it. You can do it with no money out of pocket. You may have to put some money down. Hey, I feel good at this number budget wise. It also gives us a chance to kind of put together a financial plan for some people that, frankly, haven't refinanced this year, because right now, as you said, I mean, rates are insane. And the opportunity to lower your payment, shorten your term, kind of increase your financial situation is there. So it's not just about putting a swimming pool in the backyard. It's about doing something that benefits you long term as well.
So are you seeing oftentimes the opportunity with the change in rate and possibly the term on the loan where people are add the swimming pool in and it doesn't necessarily increase their monthly spend by much?
That's correct. So, if we can lower someone's payment on the first lien side by $200 or $300 or $400, and they turn around and put in a swimming pool, and we do a home improvement loan for them on the second lien side, maybe that home improvement loan's $300 or $400 or $500, and all of a sudden, the net effect of adding that swimming pool and doing the refinance is it's a net zero. So instead of adding $400 or $500 to their monthly expenses, now we've decreased the mortgage, and at the same time kind of increasing that the payment on the second lien. But again, it's kind of a wash.
Perfect. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. As we go through, feel free to ask any specific questions you have to Craig or general questions in regards to the financing, because he is for sure our resident expert. So with that, I will, if there aren't any questions, I'll hand it off to Eric and really talk through, our process, how we've adapted and changed, webinar being one. This is new to us, so bear with us as we go through this. As far as our process and how we are adapting first and foremost to keep our clients as safe as possible and our team as safe as possible, but also still continue to make a great personalized experience.
Sure. And, number one, I think we've got the best sales team in the business. And, I don't know everybody, but I know who we've got. And I am very confident that the team we have is the team to beat in this industry for sure. So what we've done is we've gone to a lot of remote meetings with our team. We're taking our contacts, or we're asking people to come in through our website, through our portal, and fill out our automated forms, so that we're picking up a little bit of information to better help get you with the right member of our team. It is taking a little bit longer than it has in the past, but it's just honestly due to sheer volume, and we're blessed for that, but also cursed by it a little bit, because everybody's excited and wants to go, and we want to take care of everybody. So if you are on here and you've had to wait a little bit, we apologize. We want to take care of you, and we want to do a good job at it, and that's why it's taken us a little bit longer sometimes to get to you. So we appreciate you very much for that. Once you're in the system and we're working with you, we've got our measures out in the field. They can be in and out of your yard in a very touchless way. Then our design team, they've all been working remote all since March. Our design team has been out of our building, but we've seen zero lack of production out of them. They're just busy, and they're doing a great job for our sales team in producing and adjusting, and doing little eeks and tweaks to the designs to get them right for our clients. And at that point, we've had lots of in-person meetings. The ones we do have here at our showroom, we are by appointment only. We are logging people into the office. We're face masks required. Really trying to do a good job for our clients and for our people, to keep everybody safe, get through this thing, and come out on the other side, a better, stronger group, and everybody healthy and happy. So, our process is changed completely, but it's exactly the same, right? It's all about taking care of our clients, and we've got the team to do it. And then once we can get them into construction, then our construction team is as good as they've ever been, and I wouldn't trade them for anything. So, we're excited. We're excited to move forward.
Well, I want to second what Eric said, and a big kudos to all of our team. I know some of our designers are on the call. I know Randy's on the call, who runs our design department, and he's just done an outstanding job, not only designing, but making sure things are complete, but also expediting the permits to make sure that we can start for all of you other folks on this call. So we're super appreciative of that. And I can tell you this, I can relate to our clients, but I can relate to my family the best. I know we built, in the current house that we're in, we built our pool a little over 12 years ago. And out of the 12 years that we've had it, we have used it probably 10 times more this year than we have any other year. Why, do you ask? Because we've had nowhere else to go. So we've spent a ton of quality time out there. We've spent a ton of family dinners out there. The kids had all their friends over swimming all summer. We've used the hot tub in the evenings more than we ever have. So I'll be the first to tell you, not as Josh the pool builder, but as Josh the pool owner, what we've seen, and I don't see it changing in the near future, as far as vacations and spending time with friends and family. We're super proud to be part of that. And, if it's something that you're considering doing, I would urge you to do so as a pool owner, also as a pool builder, but really as an opportunity to bring everybody together. And I can tell you, on behalf of my wife and I, we have an 11 and a 12-year-old. We're going to be 11 and 12 in the next month or two. It was an absolute lifesaver to get a little break out of the house with the kids and all their friends. Because I know if we'd have been stuffed in the house the entire time, we surely would have managed and spent some great quality family time. But it was a great break for the kids. We started the day COVID hit, we started heating the pool, and the heater didn't come off until almost June. So it was an everyday occurrence for us, spending time out there. eating dinners, playing basketball, playing sharks and minnows. So I can tell you that right now, pools are expensive, but the time that we personally spent with our families and the time that you're able to spend with your family is absolutely invaluable. So if it's something you're on the fence with, and you are going to use it for entertaining and for family, I would absolutely urge you to do it, and you won't regret it. You'll get a great quality product with us. So
Josh,
yes,
we have, Craig, can you tell us a little about, we have a question about the name of your company.
So the name of my company is Primary Residential Mortgage. So I am a mortgage banker. My bread and butter is first liens. And then when it comes to just doing a home improvement loan, we've got a couple of different second lien lenders that we would send you to. I've got a large bank that's based in Texas, and then I've got a broker in Dallas. So if it's a home improvement loan, we're going to, again, kind of spend the time, send you to those guys. If it's a refinance, we're going to hang on to it, do it in-house here. And then, whether we're doing a home equity loan or we're sending you for the second, we make sure that everything gets to the appropriate place.
perfect. Eric, do you want to take a second for those that haven't been through our process? We talked about how we come out and we don't go in the home and we stay in the backyard. We measure it quick in and out, and it's all touchless. How would you set people's expectations as far as the process, what things they need to gather, and then what we're going to provide them from a timing, design, selection standpoint? Why don't you take a minute and walk them through that process, if you don't mind?
Sure. The vital things that we need on the front end are your property survey, which is going to be generally found in your closing documents. This day and age, a lot of title companies provide you that electronically, so they're pretty easy to find. But your property survey with a stamp, a complete survey. A lot of surveys are on 8.5 by 14 paper, 11 by 17, and they're odd sizes. And to get started with the process, we can use a partial copy of a survey, but we ultimately need a full survey in order to go to permit. Once we have that, our sales team member that you're working with is going to chat with you a little bit about your wants, your needs. We're going to get our measuring crew out, get a good representation of your yard measured, lots of good pictures so that we can work through things, and then we're off to design. And our designers
Hey, Eric,
are yes.
Not to interrupt you, Eric. How should we set people's expectations as far as dig tests and what they can see in the yard when we come out to measure?
Sure. In the past, the salesperson would meet you at your house before the measuring crew. Nowadays, when we're not having that at-home meeting, we are doing it on a Zoom call, doing it on a phone call, and we will want to do the line locates, the dig test early in the process, ideally so that your yard gets marked with the yellow, orange, and red flags before our measurers come, so that if there's something alarming or something in the yard that we need to know about, that we can pick it up on the front end. And if, for example, you have an electric line running right where you want the pool, that we can deal with that stuff on the front side versus at the end. And it's a little inconvenient for people sometimes to have the flags early. We've had people in the past, wonder why we would do that when we're not even working with you yet. But it's important. It's due diligence, and that is important to us to do our due diligence, just like you're doing with us when you're talking to us and 2 or 3 other people, potentially. We're just trying to be professional, be ahead of the game, and not have surprises. And occasionally surprises happen, but we've been doing this for a long time, and we know generally what most of those could be, and having that information on the front is super important. And that has changed a little bit, because if our first meeting was at your house, I would tell you, as we shook hands or bumped elbows, as we do these days, I would tell you, and the next steps are, right, I'm going to have my measuring team out. I'm going to call the line locate people. But, when we're not standing there in your yard doing that, things have changed a bit. So it's important for our team to be talking that, but that could get missed occasionally with this new thing, new theme we're working under.
Great. Eric,
Yes.
I have two questions for you. Diane Ellis, she hears that there are nightmares about contractors not finishing, and how do you manage that, as well as a lack of communications with the project managers, and what does the communication look like throughout your process?
Sure. Number one, we love starting projects, but we love finishing them even more, right? It's heavy construction. It can be challenging, right? With people living in a house and having a major construction project in their backyard. We want to get in your yard, but we want to get out fast, and professionally and well and finished. We build and try to build as many projects as we can handle with our staffing levels. We try not to get ahead of ourselves or overextended. There are a lot of factors that come into play when it comes to finishing a project. In many cases, most cases, we are at plaster and filling the pool with water, and making our final payment when we still have some things left to do. We do punch lists, we do walkthroughs, and it's super important for us to finish your project in a timely manner.
One thing I'll add, Eric, that I think that's really important, and that's a wonderful question. I think Eric said it best. In Eric and I and the leadership team running the company, surely we look at starts, but we absolutely measure finishes. So when we look at it at the beginning of the month, the end of the month, we want to make sure we have those bookends as a similar number of starts as finishes. So we're eliminating bottlenecks. But one thing we've done in the past couple of years is we've built what we call our power team, and that's punch, warranty, and renovations. So that was always a challenge in my whole lifetime of doing this, was to all the major things always got done, but there was always one or two little things that seemed little to us, what were big to you as the homeowner, because you just spent a lot of money with us, and you deserve nothing but a perfect project. So in knowing that, and as we grew, we built a team, and ironically, our team of punch, warranty, and renovation is as big, if not bigger, as far as the head count, as construction superintendents. So, we really put in the past 2 years, the superintendents that are building your jobs have all been with us for a long time. They all have a lot of experience. We have younger guys we're training within. They're absolutely wonderful. And so we've spent so much time not only building the projects, but really building, not saying we're going to finish, actually finish, and building the team and the process around it to be able to do so. So really, if Tyler, who runs that department for us, is just absolutely solid gold. He's got the right mentality, the right process, and like I said, in any construction, nothing's perfect, but if it comes up, it will definitely not go on deaf ears. We're not perfect, but we will absolutely jump through hoops to take care of you and make sure that we do finish strong on these projects.
Yes. And I think to answer the second part of your question, which was communication, all of our project managers are, like Josh said, seasoned professionals. They've been around. They've done this for a long time. They can all communicate as necessary. Different people like to be communicated with differently. It's important for our clients to let their salespeople know, or to let their construction manager know, hey, I work best via email. I like to text. I'd like to be talked to every day, whether something's happening or not. As long as we set the expectation with each one of our clients, we really don't have a communication policy other than you should be communicated with, obviously, as as often as is necessary, and probably as important, as often as you feel necessary, right? So if you are building with us or considering building with us, it's super important at the front end to establish, who you should be reaching out to, and what you should expect as far as communication. I think it's very important, and everyone's different. So, we've had cases in the past where the project manager's talking to Mr. or Mrs., and Mr. and Mrs. aren't talking to each other. And so the communication has been there, but it hasn't gotten to every year. So, it's important for us to know the point of contact and how you'd like to be communicated with, and we should do a very adequate job of that. And your sales team will always be available if you need to interject into a situation and say, hey, I'm not getting what I need. Your salesperson will be there for you. Your salespeople do not disappear like they do in some sales organizations. I promise you that. And you can always reach out to me, and I'll find out if you need me.
Great, thank you. We have a lending question, and I'm going to let Gina talk if we have just a minute for her.
Absolutely.
Give me a second. Gina, I'm unmuting you. Oh, you haven't. Okay, older version of Zoom. I'm going to make you a panelist for just a moment.
Hi, Gina. How you
Hello.
doing?
Hi, guys.
Y'all are muted. Gina, you're muted. I cannot unmute you.
There you go. Oop, nope. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Sorry.
The wonders of video conference. Well, hey, so this kind of works into, I was looking into refinancing just yesterday, actually, and we've only been for about a year. And so when I was hearing you speak about the second lien, I was curious to know, so the issue that I ran into, or the question that I ran into, is that the value of the home. They were asking me about the value of the home, and I didn't know off the top of my head. I wasn't expecting the question.
Mm-hmm.
What is the most accurate way to get that value? Do I have to just hire an appraiser, or is there?
So from a 30,000 foot level, at least in the beginning, we all know in Texas, especially over the last 12 months, we've seen some pretty good appreciation. So in your case, we would probably say, what did you pay for the house? And then, maybe we add 5 to 10% onto that to kind of figure out how we would want to run our numbers, at least in the beginning. Now, taking that a step further, we would get an appraisal to establish the value, just to determine, what's the value at. And then if we went further and did a home improvement loan, there's some different calculations that would be added onto that appraisal value. But in the beginning, we could certainly guesstimate that. And then during the process, we would get an appraisal.
I see. Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
You bet. Good luck. Thank you.
Okay, Donna, did we have another question?
We did. I just told you I was on mute. Sorry, everyone. Yes, we have a question about regular and saltwater pools. How many you install of each type, and what's the difference?
Oh, I can take that one, Eric, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
Okay, that's a great question. And I speak from experience. So our previous pool was a salt pool, and our pool right now is not a salt pool. And I explained to you the reasons why. So for years and years and years, as we all grew up, chlorine was notoriously, it smelled, it burned your eyes, it turned blonde hair green, it irritated your skin. So salt was a great alternative to chlorine in years past or decades past. The reason being is you could actually make your own chlorine through the use of salt and electricity, essentially. So you wouldn't, when you smell that strong smell of chlorine, and you get the red eyes, the itchy skin, and the burning, that's not actually chlorine. That's what's called a chloramine. And so what a chloramine is, it's when that free chlorine molecule attaches itself to bacteria, algae, or anything that's in the swimming pool. So as you would use chlorine, you'd have to use more and more and more of it as the free chlorine was used up. So salt was a great alternative to make for a more comfortable swim, if you will. The challenge with salt is, as we all know, it can be corrosive. Now, the salt levels at 2,800 to 3,000 parts per million, a tier 6,000 parts per million, and the ocean is 35,000 parts per million. So although it's not salty like the ocean, it was close enough to the salinity content of your eye that you could swim in it, and it was a comfortable swim, and you could make your own chlorine. Now, your patio furniture, your wrought iron fence, your grill, your basketball goal, anything that had any kind of metal around it was doomed around that swimming pool. And over time, some cases worse than others would corrode it and eat it. In addition to the stone around the pool, the decking, the concrete, over time, the salt really would corrode and have a negative effect. However, for years, people were really willing to trade off the corrosive properties for a more comfortable swim. Well, as we fast forward into early 2000s, 2010, a lot of the ozone technology came out. So what the ozone technology does, it actually uses UV light, and it's an oxidizing agent. So if you could imagine, it's out in front of the chlorine, and it's actually oxidizing and attacking a lot of those bad molecules that the chlorine would generally attack. So the thing that means for you as a swimmer is that you can, with the UV system or an ozone type system, you can actually reduce your chlorine usage by 50 to 80%. So you can achieve a lot more comfortable swim where it doesn't burn your eyes, burn your skin, and just stink for days on you, even after you shower, without achieving the corrosive properties of salt. So to answer your question, in short, historically, in the early 2000s, almost 100% of our pools were salt. Now, I would be surprised if 1 in 300 were salt. Would you think that's accurate, Eric, and welcome?
It's probably not quite that big of a difference, but I bet it's 1 in 100. I mean, that's a lot. It's
And the one is the one person who is absolutely in love with it and isn't going to go without it. And I'll tell you this, when we built our pool 12 years ago, our son has very sensitive skin. He has eczema. My wife has blonde hair, and we built the new swimming pool. And the only contingency was on my wife's behalf was that we have salt. However, we wanted to use some copper spills. We wanted to use some softer stones. So I asked her to trust me, and we put on a chlorine and ozonator for our son, for the materials around the swimming pool, and for her blonde hair. And 12 to 13 years later, we're still running strong, and it's a very comfortable swim. So I hope that answers your question.
Josh, we have a couple more questions, but I think we should hold them. Let's talk a little bit about, until the end, let's talk a little bit about maintenance and service for the fall.
Well, perfect. Well, I'll hand that off to Welcome. That's the man right there. A little history on Welcome. When we decided to grow service and start maintenance, Welcome was the first man that we teamed up with, and he's still the last man standing, and he's built a wonderful department. He's cleaning a significant amount of pools, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands per week. So he's doing a great job. And the thing with us, and I'll let Welcome tell you about it, but when you see our techs come out, they're going to be in new trucks. They're going to be in uniform. They're going to be clean cut. They're going to be personable. They're going to be polite, respectful, and they're going to treat it like it's their own backyard. And they're going to spend the time that it takes. So welcome. If you would, tell them a little bit about the process in maintenance and the reporting and how we handle that to make sure we can communicate well with our clients.
Yeah, so the easiest way to explain kind of what my departments do, essentially there's two of them. There's service, which is going to be the more complicated pumps, motors, filters, that type of thing. Maintenance is going to be the weekly service whenever we come by, clean out your skimmer baskets, brush, skim, vacuum, all that good stuff. So that's the difference between the two. Really, the biggest thing is as soon as that pool has water in it, that's whenever my departments take over. So from that point on, just you can come to me for any issues that you have. Once there's water in that pool, then it's mine. With that said, like he was talking about, we've got uniform guys that come in, they're very highly trained. All of them have their CPO, which is normally not something that you even see on just the commercial end of things, but all of our guys are CPO'd. What that is just a national certification. So it goes well above and beyond the typical maintenance training that you might get at another company. Most companies, you get about a week or two's worth of training, get thrown in there and have no idea what you're doing. But with gold medal, it's going to continue all the way through. And that's where we take over and just do our thing. The best part is there's constant communication. For every visit that we make, you get an emailed report. It details every single action that we performed, your chemical levels. So it's all right there. So you can go back from day one all the way 5 or 6 years down the road, however it might be. And that's where we go from there.
I think one thing that's important is we've built a great process, and Welcome's built a great process around this, to having certain touch points on the pool every time, whether it's making sure it's vacuumed, emptying the skimmer baskets, emptying the pump baskets. So not only does the report serve as a great checkpoint for you, historically, the joke with pool cleaners is they drive by and throw a chlorine tablet over the fence and keep going. So, not only is it a great job to let you know what's going on, but it's also a great job for our techs to have a process in place to make sure they look, touch, and address anything and everything that we need. Welcome. Do you want to talk a little bit about how maintenance intertwines with service, and if you do see any service items? And we say service items, we mean items on the equipment pad or any warranty items, stone items, anything that you can see that doesn't necessarily do with the water chemistry. How can these people understand, how we seamlessly flow that through our team and between service and warranty?
Yeah, so part of each weekly maintenance visit, whenever you go with gold medal, essentially the cool part is nobody's going to know your pool better than us because we built it. Our techs, whether we built it or not, we're trained to go in there, look at the equipment, identify an issue, and just because they're not able to fix it, what happens is they'll request a service work order that's noted on the form in detail. And there's also pictures attached, and that gets sent over, or work order is created. And at that point, service takes over, will come out, correct it, and just kind of go from there. The main thing is it's just completely seamless, especially during that warranty period. It's just super nice because literally you don't have to worry about a thing at that point. From day one all the way through, we're taking care of the full thing for you.
Yeah, and I think it's important to know, you see behind me, I'm in our conference room here. It says commitment to excellence. We mean that, we live that, and we breathe that. And it goes, starts with the sales process, but even more importantly, it continues all the way through. And Welcome, Eric, and all of our leadership has done a really, really great job at influencing and breeding the culture around here to make sure that, whether it starts with myself and the leadership on this call, down to the last laborer or pool tech that we hire tomorrow, to make sure that they understand not only the fundamentals of water chemistry, construction, sales, design, all the things that we do, but they also understand the demand for the culture and the commitment that we have to our clients and to our teammates. So I think it's really important to talk about that and the intangibles of what our team breeds. So Welcome, I appreciate that. Do you want to talk on the service side, maybe some of the items going into the fall that we're seeing?
Yeah, so the biggest thing is kind of what you were talking about. In Texas, you have that extended swim season, but sometimes you need a little help getting it along with the heater. So one special that we have now going into the fall is going to be our fall special. It's $300. What that gets you is a filter service, where we come in, we completely disassemble, individually clean each filter, reassemble it, make sure there's no damage, anything going on that needs to be replaced. You also get the heater checkup. That's where we remove the full front panel. We go through it. Sometimes you might get rats, insects, whatever nest building up, and you want that heater function at 100%. We also do a freeze guard check. That's one of the most crucial things that you want to have checked before you go into the winter season. In Texas, you don't really need to winterize the pools. This is speaking about, I'd say 99% of pools out there, you don't need to winterize during the winter. It just doesn't get cold enough. And as long as that pool is circulating, then as long as the freeze guard kicks on, you're good to go. Then we do a full equipment inspection. That's just making sure everything else is running the way that it should. So that's probably the best and easiest way for you to get things going, make sure you're squared away for the fall.
Appreciate that welcome. Appreciate that welcome.
Mhm.
Eric, do you want to talk a little bit about our, now's really when we see the renovations heat up. Do you want to talk a little bit about the renovations just pretty quickly? I know we've got, 10 minutes or so left. We want to be efficient with everyone's time, but just real high level talk about some of the services, some of the trends and the things that you're seeing on our renovation side.
Sure. Renovation is always an opportunity. We see people with 2-year-old pools and 22-year-old pools who, for one reason or another, they want to change the look. They want to change the decking, the coping, the interior finish of the pool to give a different look, to maybe bring up a pool that might be considered a little bit dated and bring it into more current, a current trend situation that, definitely in my years of being here, I've seen a lot of change in what was, the more common pool, similar to, like Josh said, with salt and chlorine. There were a lot more free-form natural pools with boulders and things years ago when I started. Now we've seen the last few years a lot more straight line, clean, whites, grays, blacks versus the more natural tone colors. It's just like with people's homes, people's tastes change, the trends change, and people want to try to keep up with it. And we have a specialist on our sales staff who can take your ideas, thoughts, Pinterest photos, house photos, and work with you to design, essentially a new pool in the same spot by changing the dress, so to speak, and not, needing a whole new pool. So there's great opportunity there. You can finance those projects just like you can a new pool if you have equity. So there, the sky's the limit, honestly, for renovation. And as we get out of the hot and into the cool, it's renovation season, right? Because people generally don't want to take their pool out of service when they could be using it. And in most cases, renovations mean you're taking the water out of the pool and doing tile work and stone work and interior finish work. So the pool is out of service. So we're sensitive to that. And we know that the season is really wintertime. So for heavy renovation, we renovate year round, but the bulk of it is now. And if you want to renovate, the time to be getting that work designed and contracted is right now, so that we are doing the work out of the swim season.
Yeah, and Eric, I'll add on to that. I think that's very well said. So just to understand, it might be something as simply as, repairing the mastic in between the coping and the deck. It might be updating tile or interior finish, and it might be, something as far as adding a spa to a pool. We see that quite often. We have another pool that we're adding 8 feet onto for a client. So it could be something as simple as just minor maintenance and upkeep items, which are really important. I know that's how we are in our home. We always like it to look and feel new. So it might be just a simple facelift. It might be, something more major like adding a hot tub, changing the decking, or I can't tell you how many times someone will want us to come in and just take the pool out and start over. So really, anything you can imagine is possible. But I think Eric also said it best that, with the volume that we have now, it's really important to start the planning now, because as crazy as it sounds, and I'm saying it to myself as much as I am to you all out there, swim season will be here before you know it. And we're still in last year's swim season. So now's really the time to get ahead and start planning. We're glad to help you later, but help yourself and start now.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure. Donna, do we want to touch on a handful more of these questions? I know we have about 7 more minutes or so, 10 to 7
Yes.
more minutes. So
Yes, let's
Yep.
start with Robert. He wants to change his salt pool to ozone pool, and he wants to know if he can do it himself.
welcome. Do you want to take that one and talk about appliance installers and electricity and everything that goes along with it?
Yeah, that one's going to be a little tough to walk you through DIY. If you're having to ask, no offense, it's probably not a good idea to be trying it. You do have to have a appliance installer's license whenever you start dealing with that type of thing. The
Or
biggest, I'm sorry?
or master electrician's license.
Correct. That's what we do have is the license. We're able to do that and do it safely and legally. So if you're having to ask to do it yourself, probably not a good idea. There's a whole lot of YouTube champions out there, but I've seen that's also where we have to come in and fix it. It is a pretty simple process for somebody experienced to do, but really I'd recommend hiring somebody who knows what they're doing. And I know a guy.
Well, I don't know about you, Welcome, but I like to pay an electrician to do my electrical work.
Correct.
Great, thank you.
Perfect.
Alex is a realtor and has a client in Chicago building a house in Salina. Are you able to coordinate virtual meetings to design pools?
Absolutely. And we always could, but we never did, if that makes sense. But since March, or I should say we never did, we rarely did. I've done, pre-COVID, I've done complete deals and never met the people until we were at their house putting pool in their water. So absolutely. Putting pool in their water, putting water in their pool. So yes, absolutely. It's doable. It's more doable today than it ever was before because we're just better at virtual communication.
And I'd venture to say, Eric, that you're going to get the exact same service living in Chicago as you will living in Salina or living in Frisco.
For sure.
The new
Well
world we
said.
live in. And then Gina wants to know, how long is the pool warranty?
Well, that's so I'll go ahead and take that one. So when we install a swimming pool, there's really 3 main warranties. You're going to have a lifetime warranty on that structure. So the actual structure of the pool, you will have a warranty on it for as long as you own that swimming pool. The equipment on the pad, meaning the pump, filter, heater, the mechanicals, I believe right now, Welcome, it's at, or Eric, where's it at right now?
I think Hayward's doing 5.
Yeah, so that's why I asked, just to make sure.
I think so.
And I want to hear you say it. So generally speaking, we've always offered a 3-year warranty from our equipment manufacturer. So because of our relationships and because of the amount of pools we do with them, we're actually able to offer you a 5-year warranty on all your pump, filter, heaters, controllers, and any of the Hayward mechanicals that are on that pad. The unique thing about that is the statistically speaking, if you're going to have an issue or a warranty item, it's highly probable to happen in years 4 and 5 as opposed to years 1, 2, and 3. So there's a significant savings to you as the pool owner for buying a pool right now. And I don't know how long that 5-year lasts, as busy as Hayward is and as we are. So, we're happy at a minimum, depending on when you go, you'll have 3, but there's a great opportunity to have 5 now. And then everything else around the swimming pool will have a 1-year warranty against defects, against materials and workmanship. But I will tell you this, it doesn't matter when it is. If it's something that we could have done better, is not right, we're going to take care of it.
Great.
Do we have more questions, Donna, or are we on the tail end wrapping this up, letting everybody get back to their day?
No more questions. Before you wrap it up, Josh, I just wanted to let everybody know that we have a great blog at goldmedalpools.com that has a lot of frequently asked questions. One of the latest blogs is frequently asked questions on maintenance and service. And we also have a great one on pool renovations. We actually just got another question.
Okay, go ahead.
So Hank has been swimming in their gold medal pool since mid-July. Joe Ray was great to work with during construction. So is Jenny. The complimentary pool service just ended. They don't need full service each week, but would like a weekly water chemistry. Can they get this service?
Not something that we offer. Reason being is it kind of gets tricky whenever you're there every other week. A lot of times what happens whenever we're only doing part of the job is the other half gets left undone. So we found that it's most effective whenever we're doing it 100% of the time.
So welcome. What you're saying is now that your free months are up, you need to hurry up and sign up.
Yes, correct.
And Hank, thank you for your business. We appreciate you. And we appreciate the kind words about Joe Ray and Jenny. They're the absolute best. They're the absolute best. So thank you for that. Well, perfect. Donna, if that wraps it up, we just want to take a quick minute to thank everybody for taking a minute out of or an hour out of their day in these wild and uncertain times. We appreciate all of you being gold medal supporters, potentially in the future, if you aren't already. And I can assure you on behalf of our whole leadership team, no matter how many projects we do or how many leads come through the door, we care about you and we care about yours. And we're excited to work together in the future in any facet that you're willing to have us. So everybody stay safe, have fun, and enjoy your family time. And we look forward to meeting you soon. Thank you.